our bodies forward. I love the wingbacks that Louisville has up the flanks. So this is a big task for them. Wake Forest is going to want to take the game to them. And I'm excited to see how this thing shakes out. Both teams, as we said, Joey, dial it in. They got lots to play for. Let's go.
Time to lock in at Dr. Market Sidney Lynn Stadium, and we are underway. Louisville working left to right, donning the pink kits in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. Wake Forest in the gold, working right to left. Officials tonight, head official Matthew Thompson, Chris Scherfranzen, Joshua Metcalf, the assistants, and Caleb Riley, the fourth official, nearing the benches. We are set to go here in Louisville. The spot to be in, what's on the line tonight. Louisville would love nothing more than to host at Lynn in the ACC tournament, but they need a win to do that and some help. Sitting at 7 points in the conference and dropping a UNC last week. They had a good midweek match against Oakland and won that 4-0 to try to propel themselves. Ultimately, UNC proving why they're a top 10 team as well, shutting out Louisville last Friday.
This is one of those games where you look at it and you say, look, Wake Forest has continuously shown that it is very much a national title contender, one of the best teams, not just in this league, but in the country. And you have to look at it as an opportunity for Louisville. Yeah, it's a tall task to play a team this good. Louisville has shown at times this year that it can be among the best teams in the country, but a great opportunity for the Cards at home.
Bacuzzo working in the corner against Escribano. Tonight, Jeff, as the Cards corral the ball on offense, what are some keys you want to see?
Well, I kept it pretty simple for this one for both teams. Louisville, we talked about all the different scenarios and all these different things. You got to focus on what's in front of you, and that's 90 minutes against one of the most disciplined, best teams in the country. You just got to play soccer. Come out tonight, play this game, see what you can do, and put together a good performance.
It's certainly been a year that started pretty well for Louisville. You spot yourself with 6 wins right out the gate, unbeaten, and you get yourself in position. But then to go 3-4-2 beyond that, it just felt like this team wasn't playing consistent enough, albeit they've scored first in 11 out of their 15 matches. So really, when you look at it, is really what plagued them, just being able to finish? Not sure, but regardless, this team has talent and can certainly be dangerous, as there's an entry from Parker Forbes and popped out by Bo Cummins.
Yeah, Louisville has just not been able, since the conference schedule started up, to piece together complete performances.
This Wake Forest team, not quite veteran laden, but experience laden for sure in the back line, especially the goalkeeper Trace Alfin Jr. from Raleigh is going to have his hands full with this back line, but he really springs a lot of this Wake Forest success. Tatsafu trying to enter. In 16 games played, he's just allowed 11 goals all season.
We just got a little glimpse of what's going to be a very fun matchup between Mitchell and Josh Jones. Josh Jones built like a D1 small forward, 6'6", about 210, and Rolled Mitchell 6'2". Going to do some battle here as he holds up play, lets guys play off him. So good in transition. Josh Jones is a very good transition defender.
For Wake Forest, you just saw Bobby Muse pleased with how his team has done so far, but the job is not done. What are their keys tonight, Jeff?
Yeah, I think you want to finish this season strong, and there's no reason to believe that Wake is going to come in here and not try to take the game to Louisville. But this is a team that has a pretty good road record, 3-1-1. They've got to go right at Louisville early, and we're seeing it already that they're confident on the ball. They just got to see if they can get some early goals.
Mitchell wide of the cage. Man, that would have been the early goal that you're looking for if you're Wake Forest.
Well, this is really good stuff from Mitchell. He pushes off 2 different defenders, and right when it looked like Jones might be able to get in and put him off, Mitchell does well there to extend and get something on it. Honestly, had a lot more power behind it than you would think someone in almost a toe poke motion there, but just showing how dangerous he can be with the ball at his feet. I gotta say, Joey, I don't know how I feel about the jersey combinations tonight. Not to sound like an old man. Between these 2 teams.
Hard for you to read from beyond here, too?
I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of the numbers or the colors here.
Well, black and gold always plays, and Wake Forest does. These are some good gold kits.
Those aren't
right,
the kits that I have the issues. Yeah, it's the ones together that
yes,
I don't know.
yeah.
And it's confusing that Brad Sample is number 15 today. He's been a staple in the program at 13.
No 13 kit for Bradley Sample tonight. But you'll recognize him by the hair, that's for sure. Yeah, the last loss for Wake Forest is their only loss all year. That was against Pitt on September 9th. Since then, they've ripped off 12 in a row unbeaten. 4 draws. Last year, 14-6. So felt better about the win column. Their only loss coming in the ACC. Played to a 1-1 draw last weekend against Notre Dame. That game was at home on ACC Network. And what a battle it was. That first goal didn't come until 11 minutes left to play in regulation. And Notre Dame ended up tying it up within the last 5.
Couple of Titans this season going toe-to-toe. Wake outside of that Pitt game.
Kojima, wow, that was off the upright.
I was going to say, outside of that Pitt game, Wake has only given up 0 or 1 goal in each of its contests. Really impressive defensive record for them, and a reason for that is they put teams under pressure offensively, and we saw there they've got plenty of guys who can uncork it.
12 different goal scorers across the board in this Wake Forest team. They have really rounded into form this season. Proven themselves well enough, of course, to get a bye in the ACC tourney. They will not have to play that Wednesday game. Louisville will, and it's a question of if they play that at home or not. Jelani Forbes and Quentin Elliott toe-to-toe. And Matthew Thompson awarding the foul to Elliott. Back to Wake Forest.
Yeah, and this is one of those interesting spots where, you know, Wake can kind of try to use it to restart their build with Louisville already in the defensive half here.
Cross pitch pass, Forbes. A little bit of room after shaking off Elliott. Kojima wearing the captain's armband tonight. This team has talent across the board. Into the box, Tatafu, the Hofstra transfer. Pokes that one out. Only 2 transfers on this Wake Forest team. And you lean into this Louisville team. 2 new transfers this season. 6 overall. Over the last 2 and 3 seasons. Impressive what John Michael Hayden has been able to build here so far. 3 NCAA tournament appearances in 5 years. Here's Guerra. He was a big get for Louisville in the transfer portal this season. Reigning Patriot League Player of the Year at Army.
This is going to be a little bit of an interesting test for Louisville here. They're a team that has tried to possess a little bit more, but the way they're set up with this back 3, a little bit, potentially a little bit more defensively, especially with the double pivot in front of them with Alejandre sample. I don't know how much possession Louisville's going to have tonight. Wake loves being on the ball, about 59% on average per game in possession. So Louisville's got to be quick and decisive in what they're trying to do with the ball at their feet.
And Wake will make you pay for it if you're not. Forbes through ahead, Guarino. Lofted and out.
But that's exactly like you just said. They'll make you pay for it there. We saw it. Gage Guerra didn't really have any options. Nobody showing for him. Took a little too long to make a decision there. Had the ball knocked away, and all of a sudden, it's a transition moment. And that is where Wake Forest, with this front line that they have, it's just so dangerous. You do not want to put your defenders in that situation.
And Louisville's had a handful of turnovers when they're trying to clear that have led to eventual goals. That was a huge theme in the Clemson match a couple weeks ago. Here's Damian Barker-John. Tough against Liam O'Gara. In tall order, literally 6'4". Liam O'Gara, the freshman, a local kid to Wake Forest from Winston-Salem.
That's what you want out of your pivots, your double pivots in the midfield, the ability to almost look like a center back at times and come back, win the ball for you. But Louisville also, both of these teams already showing that the high press can make goalkeepers uncomfortable. We know that Louisville has that in them. And here's a substitution. We've been wondering how quickly that might happen with Gage Guerra still working his way back to full fitness.
Yeah, the knock on his foot was the injury that kept him off the field since late September in that Evansville match, as Elliott lofts it in and it's tossed out of the box.
There's a handball in there, I think, on the end. But yeah, this was always going to be a test for Louisville. How many minutes can Gage Guerra give you? And as we've talked about, look, I mean, not a whole lot of teams can reach into the toolbox and throw on a Brandon McManus, but I mean, Wake is definitely a team with that kind of depth too. That's what the level of talent is tonight. But you know, if John Michael Hayden able to quickly bring on yet another high quality goal scorer for the Cards.
McManus 2 goals this season. Nearly had a brace against Ohio State. He's come on the scene a little bit later. Former Kentucky transfer, Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year in high school. And here's Damian Barker-John, briefly off the error from Escribano, and Louisville wins the foul.
Yeah, that's a good call too from the referee, because at first it looked like maybe there'd be advantage for Louisville, and the play hadn't quite developed enough to let them play on after the initial tugging on the jersey. So Louisville will get a chance to bring it back here. And you see here, a great job from Damian Barker-John. That's just getting a good job on the body angle there and getting in front of the ball to take it away. And we'll get used to a different sight here. Usually this is Sonder Road. Damian Barker-John over it.
Tries to curl this one. That gives you a sense. I know the play was blown dead, but of what his talent with the ball at his feet. We've seen some highlight reel goals from Sticks there, number 11.
He almost just chipped Alfin there to the back post. And Alfin has a lot of different calculus to work out here with Josh Jones in the vicinity.
Into the box, Alfin punches that one out, be it with contact. But Tatafu trying to rise up for that ball, and a push initiated there by Louisville.
Back post there. Not sure that I caught the incident there, but good goalkeeping from Alfin. He's just a really good goalkeeper.
8 clean sheets last year, already 6 this year. Veteran starter. And Bobby Muse will tell you the biggest value add that he really has, unspoken most of the time, because of course goalkeepers are, you're always going to be able to look at them as communicative Great shot stoppers, good feet. He is a guy who generates offense, and that's not something we hear every day from these coach calls.
Well, yeah, it adds quite a bit to your team if your goalkeeper can help you generate possession, generate different looks, and it makes the other teams have to really think about what they're doing.
Prince and Ponsa skies that one out of the box. Excuse me. Parker John collects out of bounds. So the first 15 minutes, what's kind of your read right now?
Pretty cagey. You know, Wake has had a couple of its moments to break. Mitchell, sort of a half chance that was all his own doing with the dribbling. And Louisville has grown into this game a little bit offensively.
Maybe bartering for a chance. Elliott, bit of contact there, tied up with Forbes. This heads back to the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, he just got turned around there, and once the ball got moved on, pretty dangerous lunge there from Elliott. Just trying to win the ball back.
Wake Forest is good on the run. Here's Rold Mitchell working against Josh Jones. And Forbes outdone by Tatafu in the box.
Yeah, it was good work there from Mitchell to hold up and look to see what his options were, but Forbes just couldn't get his footing right. And good defending too from, I think it was Tatafu, coming back to just kind of put him off a little bit.
Certainly cagey. There's no doubt about that. Parker John down to Bakuzo. Louisville inching closer and closer. Both these teams have had chances, albeit Wake Forest has had two really good shots on goal. One just wide. And now Louisville trying to enter into this position here. A win tonight would give them 10 points in the ACC. With no other results, they'd be at least tied for 6th or 7th. Need a little help in order to host, as Sample collides with Vlad Walent. When you're going 100 miles an hour like that, probably doesn't feel good.
No, and Sample, one of the biggest responsibilities that he has for Louisville is to be disruptive when they're out of possession. In transition moments, you've got to just sacrifice your body, even if it means that you get hurt fouling someone. That's the role of the pivot in this position for Louisville, is to just be problematic and slow things down a little bit. That guy, over the course of his career, has taken an absolute beating. And for the record, that means he's good at his job.
Yeah. When he's holding, he knows exactly what he's doing. And he's not afraid of contact, that's for sure. I think it was other football reference, but I think it was Jim Harbaugh that said the human body craves contact when it comes to sports.
Well, we were talking about it earlier with O'Gara, too. I mean, these are guys who understand their roles. They play them so well, and it's pretty thankless, honestly. It's not the most glamorous job on the field, but key guys for their teams.
See, Alex Fetnoff has been contended a little bit tonight. Pretty impressive in his debut as the only goalkeeper for Louisville this season. College Spring League Golden Glove. Earned his way after a great preseason and training camp. Alfin was an absolute rocket for a clear.
Yeah, I think he just had DBJ in the area. A little bit of an awkward in-between pass back and just had to launch it.
Wake Forest leaning into the chance. Last match was a draw. Other draw this season. Draws, excuse me, included against Syracuse, Maryland. Both those teams ranked at the time in the top 20. And Cal as well, who will join the ACC next year. Stanford as well, SMU. There's going to be some real fights next season in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah, some real road trips too.
The both Coast Conference.
Yeah, some real road trips. A lot of travel coming. Watching this back line for Louisville, it's technically a back three with wing backs, and the way they are rotating, it's really interesting because it at times will look like a back four, and the wing back is triggered forward, and that's when Wake is going to try to see if they can get people in behind where that wing back should be and just kind of overload that space. That's when you need your wing back defensively has to go win the ball and be disruptive to allow everybody else to get aligned, or else it's off to the races for Wake Forest.
Jake Wallen is one of the spark plugs for this Wake Forest team on offense as of late. Great success story coming back for Jake Wallen. A year and a half out with a torn ACL. Made a huge difference with his return. Just creates chaos in the midfield. A guy Wake Forest loves at any juncture, but to have him coming off the bench with fresh legs might be helpful here. There's Forbes. Weaving through. Tatafu lofts this one up. O'Gara collects, and Wake Forest keeps the ball in the attacking half. Wallen. Chance for Wake, and rolled Mitchell wide of the cage.
You're going to see all night, it's going to be a chess match here between Josh Jones and Mitchell. And Mitchell coming back for the ball there, moving into some pockets of space, and Jones having to make that decision. As a result, Mitchell could go right at him, face up, and get a shot away because Josh Jones had come out chasing him to a certain level and then had to get back into where he needed to be, dropping off Mitchell. And Mitchell is going to always welcome the opportunity to shoot from 25 yards out. Really, we said right at the top of this game, that's going to be the best matchup probably on the field. And we're seeing some really interesting back and forth between them in terms of just positioning. Mitchell has certainly had a couple of chances already with his smarts alone.
He's crafty, the senior from Montclair, New Jersey. His shot earlier in the Notre Dame match hit the crossbar. It was about the 60th minute. That would have been a heck of a way to ignite that crowd down in Winston-Salem. Leo Guarino eventually got that goal to go in the 80th minute. Forbes working against Quinn Elliott inside. Mitchell saves Svetnoff. That was huge from the sophomore goalkeeper. Mitchell had an eye for the corner.
That was excellent work there from Forbes. He just won the one-on-one battle out on the outside left, got a good cross in. Mitchell doing well to float into that little pocket. One-timer, but what a save from Svetnov to keep his team level here with Wake Forest.
Entry long. Kojima, far too high.
I mean, this is just Forbes winning that battle out on the flank, and then Mitchell, again, the movement that Mitchell has is just so impressive, his ability to go find the ball, and knew exactly where the goal was. That was on target. But we have talked all year about Svetnov's shot-stopping ability, and he showed it again there.
Mitchell puts himself in good position at all times. How can Louisville do the same? Barker John trying to penetrate that back line of Wake Forest. That's a tall order all by your lonesome.
Yeah, there's been a couple times that Louisville's tried to dribble into it. I just don't know that that's going to work tonight.
Mitchell, a corner against Tatafu. Inside and a Wake Forest goal for Jelani Forbes. And the Deeks strike first. Forbes is fourth of the year. And an excellent sequence for Louisville, ignited by Rold Mitchell.
Yeah, just too easy. Just too easy if you're Louisville. Mitchell just showing off his ability, gets right by the defender, and at that point, Louisville is scrambled defending Svetnov. I think that might have hit the post, actually, and bounced back out. Great positioning there from Forbes, Johnny on the spot to pop it right back in. But Mitchell, once again, floating around, finding ways to get the ball at his feet, and he is not afraid of a single Louisville defender. He's going right at them, and Louisville just not providing the physicality there. Tatafu in that corner, he's got to find a way to be physical with the forward and edge him out of the play there. And instead, he got end line, created a situation that resulted in a wide open goal to put back the rebound off the post.
Forbes was third team All-ACC last season. And he's made an impact this year in some different ways. Well, he took the opportunity and ran with it right there. And you start to feel like Mitchell and Forbes, both those players, were the ones generating a little bit of offense for Wake Forest. Finally pays off in the 27th minute. Wake out in front early. Tatafu to Axel Alejandre. Notre Dame up on Pitt. 1-0 so far through nearly the same amount of time as our game. Oh, Alfin takes a hit after running into his own teammate as Garrison Tubbs, veteran center back, as he had some contact there with Brandon McManus. And Alfin shakes it off.
Forest defender Tubbs there, pretty frustrated. And I don't know, I think he just ran into his teammate.
Well, here's Sonder Road. Through to McManus, a chance. That's Bradley Sample, and he scores! How about that to equalize for your first goal of the season? You talked about it earlier, Jeff. A thankless job as a holding midfielder. He gets the goal and the reward to equalize, and we're level in Louisville.
Yeah, the work done there by Sonder Road to win the ball back in a dangerous spot. Brandon McManus does well to stay with the play. McManus with some words there for Tubbs, but how about Bradley Sample? Look, again, a guy, as you said, thankless position. is a ball winner for Louisville, shuffles in and out of those backline spots when other guys go forward. He just kind of seamlessly moves around the field to do whatever he can. But that time he does a nice job of tracking the play, being an option to lay off for McManus. Good power, good location. Alfin, I don't know, knew a whole lot about it, got to it late. And kudos to Louisville for turning a quick turnover into a goal. Game back on here, Joey.
I think Bradley Sample would be the first to tell you, because that is his first goal this year. It's not even in his usual kit. He's normally number 13. I don't think he's taking that 15 off.
Yeah, lucky number 15.
Gonna have to ask for an extra, an equipment manager. That seems to have given Louisville a little bit of life, and Sander Road quietly checked in. We didn't acknowledge it when it happened in real time. And he generates a little bit of offense there for the Cards that leads to the big goal.
Well, it's just one of those moments where Louisville has that high press in place, and Wake Forest has done it too, that both teams have created a couple of turnovers where it's all of a sudden a chance. And in this level of play, you've got to take those chances if you want to win games or be in games.
Kennedy, his pass interrupted by Quentin Elliott. It's worth mentioning that Konstantinos Georgalides is still fighting a lower body injury. They hoped for him to be back by ACC tourney time next week.
That's a big miss for Louisville. Another really creative guy with the ball at his feet. Good movement, good effort on the on pressing and counter pressing for Louisville as well. So pretty complete package for a sophomore.
One across the board here in Louisville. Wake Forest inching closer on a chance into the box. Tapped out. O'Gara tied up with Bakuzo. That's Escribano donning the other captain's armband for this Wake Forest team with Jose Kajima. Ponsa to Escribano. So Wake Forest team seeking its 5th Atlantic Division title in 9 years with Bobby Muse. Forbes and Sample comes up big again, leading to a corner from Jake Swallen.
Yeah, good stuff there from Sample to just not even allow the ball to get into a spot where someone could get on the end of it.
Another set piece incoming for Louisville. Jeffrey White checks in for Wallen. Wallen to Forbes. And Tree. Nobody home. Chance for O'Gara over top the cage. Was the word you used earlier cagey? Because
I'll be honest,
this has been fun.
That was a little concerning if I'm Louisville. It felt like there were only Wake Forest bodies at the back post there, but the ball a little too high for the target there, but sketchy moment defensively for Louisville.
Elliott scoots to Sander Road. Road was really trying to find McManus on a rope. And it stays with the Cards. Louisville 6-1-1 at home this season. Only loss came against Virginia Tech. Now it's Wake Forest on the run again. And the Deacs chance. Stop. It's D'Argento and LaBelle working on White. And the drum line has been steady tonight. They've had a good amount to play for.
Yeah, I'm into it.
In tempo. In rhythm. Road, nicely done to McManus. Cross pitch pass to D'Argento. Back to the box. O'Gara heads out. And Louisville really pressing here in the attacking half when they have the ball. Felt like both teams were feeling themselves out, feeling each other out rather, Jeff, in the first 10 to 20. A little bit of change here as Bacuzzo works through. Saunder Road off the D'Argento. Ricochets and it's a goal! Gaetano D'Argento. His first goal as a Cardinal. Seizes the lead against Wake Forest.
Wow, it was good work once again from Saunder Road to win the ball back and get this possession moving again for Louisville. They work it around to that left side, and D'Argento, why not? Nice little layoff from Saunder Road. And for the second time, Alfin really not a whole lot he could do about it once it got that deflection. Didn't see it until late. But nice response here from Louisville after Wake got the early, or took the early lead.
D'Argento, the transfer from Bowling Green. You've had most of the scoring at the top with Barker John. Gage Guerra, of course, opened the year. Jorgalides had a hand in a few goals, or a foot rather. Tonight, it's the unusual suspects. Bradley Sample and Gaetano D'Argento.
Yeah, not the usual crew that's popping goals for Louisville, and that time it's a good job from D'Argento. And that's where the help of the back three comes into play here for Louisville, is that your wing backs have a little bit more freedom to roam. The fullback in a back four might feel a little more positional responsibility in terms of getting back defensively. In this case, they're giving them a little bit more freedom, and Saunder Road, nice little layoff. D'Argento, all he had to do was launch into it.
All of a sudden, this game is live. Maybe not all of a sudden. It's felt like it's been tilting either which way. But you tell me, do you feel like both goals for Louisville have come off unsettled situations, or was it just a matter of one mistake leads to one opportunity?
Yeah, I would say unsettled situations, and Louisville doing the little things necessary to make a scoring chance happen. Wake causing problems of their own when they got their goal too, of just making Louisville defend.
It's Chase Oliver contending for the push, and he lofts this one into the hands of Svetnov. An easy one there for 29. This Wake team certainly can't sleep on them now that you have the lead. A third-rate team in the country for a reason. They've hung with the best. And not only the ACC has to offer, but the country has to offer.
Just the second time in the regular season here that a team has scored more than one goal against Wake Forest. And the fact that it's not even halftime is a boost for Louisville, but I don't know that Wake. I don't know that you're going to go into halftime here if you're Bobby Muse and say this has been a disastrous performance. I think they tidy up a little bit in the back, and I think they're probably feeling okay about their chances because I mean, look, it's 8-2 in shots, and they certainly have done their due diligence getting forward to get probably another opportunity or two even before halftime.
And Ponce keen to that one off of Sonder Road. This is good from Jake Wallen. Shaking and moving around a couple defenders. Now it's Oliver. Off of Tatafu. Oliver pleading for the hand. Will not get that from Mike Stutt. Kojima. Lofting, and Elliott chases down. And Chase Oliver chases him, and it stays with the Deeks.
It is interesting, though, with Mitchell on the sideline, it just doesn't look as cohesive going forward for Wake Forest because he's so good at dropping into little spaces, connecting people. We talked to, like Bobby Muse said when he talked to us about connecting play, linking the lines. He's so good at that. You can tell when he's not on the field.
Still makes me think about the quiet 9 goals that he mentioned. Here's a chance for Wake. Sample slid in, and he has been the do-it-all guy today so far.
That was good defending there, and Louisville has to be mindful of how good Wake Forest is getting forward and what they can do.
First half has flown by with the amount of action we've seen. Wake Forest now trying to get back level here in the Derby City. Escribano. And Demon Deacons so methodical in their approach. Elliott sliding on. Does that stay with Wake? I believe it does.
And Louisville really pinned deep here, and that's when you start to look at the team's shape, and it's a flat 5 at this point. I mean, they are 5 across, and they are pinned in pretty deep. And Wake Forest has done a good job all night of making those incisive passes, moving Louisville a little bit from side to side.
Wallen to White. Kojima. That was a nifty move. Wake has kept this ball in the attacking third. Bounces off a defender off the shot from O'Gara. And Svetnov will settle the pace here to get Louisville back on offense.
Well, this is where it's one of those give and take situations with the way you're set up. If you're set up with a back 3 with wing backs and you're pinned in, you feel like you're not really going to be able to do much other than defend. But the plus side of that is when a team tries shots like that, a lot of times you're going to get a piece of them, you're going to block them, you're going to deflect them, slow them down for the goalkeeper. So you'll take that if you're Svetnov. You get a little help back there defensively.
Alejandre was looking for Quentin Elliott. Axel Alejandre, a side gig that he has, is a barber. Loves to cut up the rest of his teammates' hair. He needs, he could do well to get up here in the booth and give us some clips. Maybe not me. I still kind of like my hair right now.
I just got to know, is he cutting Brad Sample's hair?
I think Brad Sample stays as far away from any type of clippers as possible.
I love it.
You got
it's a mane.
Yes. The mullet mane.
Love that.
After that goal, he's certainly not going to cut it now.
No. The real question is, did Axel Alejandre dye half the team's hair?
Now that I don't know. But it's a good look on some. Wouldn't work for me.
Same. This is where you got to be careful if you're Louisville. Final 3 minutes on a set piece here. You got to mind your P's and Q's.
Wallen, well, that got deflected. I think that was off Sonder Road right away. Lofted into the air. McManus tries to corral against Escribano. And the redshirt junior from Frisco, Texas collects, and Wake has been in the attacking half of Louisville for the better part of 3 minutes now. And Ponce to Chase Oliver. Wallen dot about Cummins. Louisville not breaking shape. Cummins way over top.
And you'll take that if you're Louisville, because I mean, everybody is within 45 yards of Louisville's goal. The only person not in the defensive half on the Louisville side is Alphen, the goalkeeper for Wake, and Wake just trying to move things around. Lost a little bit of patience there and try the 25-yard effort there. 12-2 now in shots for Wake, and of course Louisville 2 shots, 2 goals. But if you're Wake, you feel pretty good about your ability to control this game. You're moving Louisville around.
Sample interfering there on that exchange. Certainly what he does best, trying to get that tackle. D'Argento playing with a little juice as well against Cummins. Mike Stutton awards the foul there for Wake, and sending it down to clear Escribano. John Michael Hayden's squad up 2-1 on the third-ranked team in the country.
This would be a monumental signature win for Louisville on the resume. Obviously a whole lot of time left.
Yeah, a whole nother half to play. Here's White. Can Wake Forest get something through before the end of the first half? Louisville trying to extinguish any opportunity that Wake might have, and they will go into half with a 2-1 lead from some very unusual suspects in Bradley Sample and Gaetano D'Argento. But it was Wake Forest who struck first. Now you go into halftime. What needs to be adjusted?
Well, both teams made their own breaks in that first half. Wake made their own break. It was Mitchell who created it. The rebound off the post, a great opportunity for Forbes to slot it home. Louisville, the high press, the counter press when they lost possession, able to create some problems for Wake Forest in those kind of half transition moments where half the shape for Wake is off, thinking they're in possession, and they lose the ball. Louisville took those chances, but this is a huge halftime for the Cards. These are the types of games all year that they have lost their grip on. They need to use this opportunity to apply what they've learned and go into halftime and finish this thing off if they want to add that signature win.
Starting fast is no big deal. You got to finish. And that's what we're going to have, is a great finish in this second half. 2-1 at the break. We were looking at the scores around the ACC at half there. I would say this particular game has the highest sticker shock value at the moment. Mitchell is back on the pitch as expected for Wake Forest, and this is a Demon Deacons team that has not trailed at half since late September. And they're in a spot now trailing Louisville, who has awakened today. Here's White. Wake Forest on the run. White, a good chance. And it's deflected away. Axel Alejandre, the man on the spot.
Yeah, and who's the guy who unlocked that play down the right side? It was Mitchell with the quick flick on. Once again, shielding off his man, finding a little space to move into and play in his teammate there. Nicely done by White to just kind of go right at it. But right away, you're going to see Wake Forest. They're direct, not messing around. They're going to keep hunting that second goal and keep pushing Louisville.
Mitchell, Svetnov there to corral. Wow, that was a sweat off your brow moment for Svetnov there.
Mitchell is just a menace. I mean, he's not giving up on that play. And very alert goalkeeping from Svetnov to just be aware of the situation, get off his line, quickly get out and claim it.
"21 goals allowed for Alex Svetnov this season. He was Defensive Player of the Week after the first week of the season when Louisville took down Tulsa, who was ranked 16th at the time. That was a big win to open the year. They also beat Kentucky. It's the last ranked team Louisville has defeated. And they're hanging around 50th in the RPI. So certainly recognized as having good competition. I mean, 9 of their matches this year were against tourney teams from last season, albeit the majority of those were in the ACC, or are in the ACC rather. Mike Stott awards the foul, Mitchell, and it's back to to Louisville.
It is interesting, though, because you talk about how tough that schedule was on paper to start the season, and then you end up with Tulsa dropping down into to 113 in the RPI, UNCG down to 125, and all of a sudden Louisville thinking, man, this is going to be a tough schedule this year that'll really give us some non-conference wins. They're not sticking out on that resume as much as they otherwise would have. Louisville not getting any help from their non-conference opponents.
Louisville pleading for a handball there. Yeah, the idea, of course, was there to front load your schedule in the non-conference to be able to show, and you know, hindsight is 20/20, of course. Both those teams in the RPI falling a little bit below where maybe expected in the preseason. But that's what the polls are for at the end of the day. Barker John on the front, and Josh Jones was pressing forward a little bit. Not an unnatural position, just not one you see him in often. Cross pitch pass doesn't find Elliott on the opposite side. And Forbes lets it fall out of bounds. And you just get the feeling with 11 there that Barker John is just going to be in this match towards the end. I think it's back to the home match against Kansas City when the Ruse sees the lead against Louisville. Barker John found the opportunities, put the team on his back at a critical juncture, got himself a brace in the last 25 minutes of that match. So Louisville's got players now.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a nice player for Louisville. It's just a matter of, like we just saw a few moments ago when he had the ball at his feet, it was potential transition moment. Do you go or do you try to keep possession and control the game?
There's Escribano and Elliott interfering there. Josh Jones pokes it out. This Wake team was really leaning into the attacking half of the Cardinals nearing the end of that second half. I mean, it felt like 4 to 5 minutes of gold on one end.
Louisville held firm. And Wake Forest, you talk about that patience. Wake Forest forced to rush things a little bit.
Kojima to White. Tossed into the box, deflected by Sample. This Wake Forest team is just a ticking time bomb on offense. They can strike quickly and efficiently. They just have talent all across the board, Jeff. That's apparent. There's O'Gara. Short corner weaving through. Nicely done by Alejandre to stick it up. Elliott was contending there with Forbes. And of course, hands up, Mike Stutt making the call.
Yeah, I think that was the right decision there to just kind of wave it off there. It looked like incidental contact in both directions, and this is where you've got to be really careful and tidy. Both teams have caused some problems off restarts with their high press.
Jake Swallen and Wake Forest trying to get out of their own end here. This is a team that has been so good. Lead the series against Louisville 12-4. Last year securing the 3-0 victory. Had the third longest NCAA tournament streak. 26 appearances for this program. A storied history.
Is that it?
And also, I mean, you think about Bobby Muse and his impact in 9 years. We talked about they're seeking the fifth Atlantic Division title in 9 years. One of the winningest programs in all of Division I. His first year, they went to the Elite Eight. He had 17 wins. College Cup in 2019, semifinal losing to UVA. Fastest D1 coach to reach 100 wins at their current school was Bobby Muse. But he says, when we caught up with him, his whole idea of this season, he said, we are an honest team. You are going to get wherever we are at right now, that's what you're going to get. And when they've been playing so well over the last 11, you don't go 11 unbeaten for no reason. They've been playing so well over this juncture this season. Only one true loss this season.
Yeah, just a really good team in terms of controlling games, limiting opposing teams' chances, and taking their own. They've got a nice little mix up front that we've seen so far. Really like, especially Forbes and Mitchell have been problematic tonight for Wake. But that little spine through the middle has been so reliable for them all season. And then they have a great goalkeeper on top of that.
Really the cherry on top.
Never go wrong starting with a good goalkeeper. That's a great place to start building a team.
That ball trickles out. Nicely done by Tantafu to box out Forbes. Well, 10 minutes have gone by in this first half. What's changed maybe from adjustments after halftime so far to you, Jeff?
Well, Louisville definitely came out thinking and having been told at halftime, hey, you got to control this game when there is a potential transition moment. We saw Damian Barker-John cut it off, turn back and possess. Wake Forest, I'd love to see Mitchell and find ways to get Mitchell engaged again. Just controlled things in the first half, floating into pocket, doing little things to cause problems for Louisville with his movement. And they've got to find a way to reattach to him and work through him in the middle.
brief stoppage here as Mike Stutt gathers his crew ready to go, and time being put back on the clock. 35 and change to play. Drumline is live. A beautiful night.
I think his whistle, he had a whistle malfunction, and now Wake Forest was frustrated that the clock kept running while he was getting his whistle checked, and there's a substitution coming on.
You can't exactly just yell the word whistle, can you, when
No.
it's official? With a high-stakes game like this, Gage Garrett pops out, McManus back in, and the minute's good for Gage Garrett at least to kind of get his wind back if he's going to be returning next week.
Yeah, you got to get minutes onto those legs. You can tell that he's not quite where he wants to be in terms of fitness, but it's obviously a much better Louisville squad when he is fit and participating in games. He's very, very important piece to this Card squad this year.
And 2 brace performances this season in his first 7. He had 6 through that juncture, but he had 2 goals against Kentucky and against Syracuse. So impressive, and certainly what felt like a big loss for Louisville that they'll be glad to have back. On the opposite side, Wake Forest hasn't had to deal with too many injuries. You never want to see teams deal with injuries, but a big reason why they've been able to sustain such a great season is because of their health and their depth. Nicely done by Bryce LaBelle and Alejandre. With a little working through the triangle there, and Parker John off the attempted tackle from Kojima.
And that's what Barker John can do for you with the ball at his feet. He's got that little jitterbug speed. He can win fouls for you. And then look, it's still a long way to go. 34 minutes is a long time, but we're watching the clock fade here because of the foul that was won. Louisville can take its time on these set pieces within reason, but that's what a player like Damian Barker John can do to help a team when you're in front.
Sample entry headed out by O'Gara. And this will be a set piece for the Cardinals. And Parker John will head to the far side corner.
And this is where Josh Jones looms large. 6'6", former D1 basketball prospect at a high school. Great timing, great in the air. He's the target.
Only goal came on a header this season off of a set piece. Not to be, at least at that juncture, lofting his Forbes, and right on cue, Josh Jones gets the header, albeit wide.
It looked like a forward jostling for a rebound there, trying to get position as that ball was scooped towards him.
Sidney Paris is in, Bo Cummins is out for Wake Forest. Rejuvenation for the back line. How about this chance here for Louisville?
Wake just shuffling between their 2 center backs there just to try to get some bodies on Jones, and he still ended up getting a head on it. And that's where, look, Louisville, you're trying to control this game. You don't want to get to the point where you're not playing, because if you slow it down too much, you can switch off. But in these moments where they get those set piece opportunities, corners, different things, that's where Josh Jones can give you that insurance goal. You want to get him some opportunities here in the second half.
Escribano and Wake Forest reeling in their own half. And if you're Louisville, I think I know the answer that you'll tell me, Jeff, because I know you, but you want to keep being aggressive, right? And keep introducing new opportunities for yourself. You're not comfortable with a 2-1 lead, so to speak.
Right, but it's a challenge because you're playing such a good attacking team that's so dangerous in transition, so you don't want to pull your shape apart too frequently and leave your back line exposed. You don't want to give up too much space in the middle.
There's Mitchell lofting, a chance for Forbes and a save for Svetnov. Kojima tried for the rebound. And it's a set piece for the Deeks. What a save by the sophomore.
That was excellent goalkeeping, the reflexes. Great work there from Wake to get into the position to play that cross. Good effort there from Forbes to win the header. And once again, it was Mitchell who's able to get something back across. That's an elite save, double save from Svetnov. I know I'm repetitive, Joey, but good things happen for Wake Forest when Rolled Mitchell is around the ball.
O'Gara tried to work through. How about it with White? It's hard to disagree with you on that. We saw a stark difference in both the pace of play and just chances created when Rolled Mitchell was taking his time on the bench.
Well, and it's quality of chances too, because Wake started peppering shots at frame late in the half, but I don't know that any single one of them really stood out as a great opportunity. But when Mitchell was involved in it, I mean, there were some real chances that the Deeks had. And I know they're not just one player. They've got so many good players around him, but you can tell why he influences the games so much for Wake Forest.
So Sunder Road is back on in for Damian Barker, John, giving him a blow. And this is a Louisville team that feeds off the energy that a player like Sonder Road can provide in the midfield. And they were without him for the last 2 matches. We're glad to have him back. Oh, as he gets the push there. We're just singing your praise. That's going to be a booking.
Running right into the yellow card to the referee's book there. But no, he's a guy who can help you with possession. That's got a grin on his face. He's a guy who can help you with possession and keeping the ball. And he could obviously creates a little bit too dangerous as the delivery on set pieces, but now you got to be smart. You're on a yellow here. Your team's trying to protect the lead.
That was a heads-up play in the midfield from Sidney Paris just to offer a foot ahead. Now it's McManus. Offside.
And that's where the decision-making for Louisville is going to come into play here the rest of this game, is when you get these opportunities to break, you got to know how many bodies to set forward. Are you putting yourself at risk defensively?
Jones tied up there, running it down with Mitchell.
Wake wanted a foul for the jostling off the ball. It looked like Mitchell was starting to gain the edge there.
Mitchell in the top drawer, Soccer 100 this season already. Wake Forest has 5 members in there, 3 of them on the all-freshman top 100. Svetnov catches that one on the run. Mitchell maybe thought about putting a boot to it, but that would have found Svetnov's sternum, so luckily for both sides that didn't happen.
No, we don't need that.
Good thing he pulled it. Wallen tackles off Sonder Road. We'd love to see the fight from both these teams. Not packing it in or comfortable with how the standings in the ACC Atlantic have shaken out thus far. A lot to play for tonight, and it's obvious with how these two teams are being aggressive on both ends of the pitch.
Yeah, this is the time of year you need to be clicked on and ready for the postseason. You want to be sharp. You want to have some momentum going into it.
Nicely done. It's a Louisville team that feels like they tilt into good spots as there's a contact there from Parker Forbes and Mitchell with a little bit to say and a little mini shove. Mike Stutt not having any of that between these two players. Imploring the captains, Josh Jones and Bryce LaBelle, to coach up Forbes. Just a, oh, I shouldn't say just a, he's a redshirt sophomore. He's been around this program for a while. But as we mentioned, lots to play for. Sometimes a little extracurricular can happen.
It's a physical game, contact sport. Yeah. See the contacts. That's what a good forward can do. Win a chance to restart possession for Wake. This is where they need to be patient and tidy with the ball. Give it away. They just, the one area that I'm guessing Bobby Muse will be a little frustrated with coming out of this game is his team's ability to play tidy through its lines and build out. They have had some hard times today keeping the ball through their progressions as Louisville throws bodies at them higher up the field. You see it again here with McManus winning the ball back.
Could prove to be huge for Louisville, albeit Kojima is there right away to quell that spark. That was a big point of emphasis for Bobby Muse when we caught up with him. He knows the elements that Louisville brings when they press like that. It's going to be the hardest part to stop. As Forbes ricochets that ball off of White. Hustle play, and that's one thing John Michael Hayden said was going to be huge for the Cards in this matchup. As Mike Stutt stopping this play again.
He says he's going to go over to the replay, but just off that sequence and from the first 60 minutes of this, Joey, what did John Michael Hayden tell us at the beginning of the season? You said, how do you want to be known in the ACC? He said, we want to be the hardest working team in the league. And you see here, Bryce LaBelle, I'm not sure if he and Parker Forbes maybe weren't on the same page. LaBelle maybe thought he had more on it, tries to redirect the pass. A lot of teams would let that thing run out. Parker Forbes comes sliding in to try to keep it. And I'm not sure if they're trying to argue, they're trying to review who touched it last or if there's a handball, but regardless, Parker Forbes making that hustle play. That's the type of play that John Michael Hayden wants to see. And that's how you see out games and win games, is when your guys are making that kind of effort.
And when we asked him at the beginning of the season, what is the fill in the blank here? Louisville will be the what of the ACC. He didn't even hesitate with the hardest working team because he knows the spirit of this squad. And anybody who comes off the bench or is a starter, you see that. But I would venture to say Wake Forest also has that workmanlike attitude. They wouldn't be in position that they are without that. They wouldn't be the winningest program in the country over the last 9 years if they didn't have that sort of gumption and fervor in their play. As Mike Stutt evaluates after the replay, let's see what our result will be. Don't think he found anything conclusive. Sort of waves the hand for both coaches. Kind of your impression too? Nothing really?
No. Yeah. I'm not sure if he was trying to see if there was a handball or what, but.
Here is Wallen. Mitchell, elusive, leaning on defenders, moving himself in the best position he can. And it's Wake Forest. Kojima. That's Sydney Paris. Entered the match not 10 minutes ago. O'Gara down to Paris, and Wake Forest being a little more methodical. Aponsa. O'Gara shifts back, and this Wake Forest team trying to team on an opportunity, Jeff, but it feels like Louisville holding tough in their shape.
Yeah, I mean, Louisville's going to sit in and really make things clogged in the defensive half.
Escribano was maybe looking for Rold Mitchell or Forbes coming on the back end, and this trickles out. And there we have a Duke and Virginia Tech live look in. Great feature here from our Nest crew. And if Virginia Tech falls, you see the great goal from Duke there. That would put the destiny of Louisville in the hands of Louisville if they can hold on to the lead here to host a home match next week. And they lost to Virginia Tech last year in the quarterfinals at home here at Lynn Stadium, but there are a lot of home field advantages, I think, in the ACC, and I would venture to say that Lynn Stadium is right up there at the top. I mean, you think about Wake Stadium, of course, for this Demon Deacons team. Think about the facility down at Clemson. There's some real home field advantage, and I'm sure Louisville would love to have it. Here's White. Mitchell, Jones, there as a wall to stop. Bakuzo lofts this. Nobody home, looking for McManus. Bakuzo chasing down against Garrison Tubbs, another captain of this team. Maybe a chance here for Louisville. McManus to Rode, to Sample, blocked in front. Now it's Elliott, and Sydney Paris boots that one out of the box, but he gets tripped up in the process, and this will be a booking on Elliott.
I don't know.
I believe.
I just don't think the universe was prepared to be moving into a Bradley Sample brace era there as he had the opportunity at the top of the box.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was ready for that.
And this is just, yeah, that's just a late high challenge there from Elliott, and he's frustrated with himself.
Sample career high for goals in a season is just one, so that would have been one heck of a way to get yourself your first brace. O'Gara working against McManus, and a foul committed by Louisville. And tug of the jersey, says Mike Stutt. Prince Aponsa.
Yeah, it's just whenever the fabric gets pulled like that, the referee's probably going to say something about it. Not a ton in it, but
certainly a feeling of, we mentioned KG in the first half. There's definitely emotions in this second half. And not to belabor the point, both these teams have a lot to play for, and they're showing that. could certainly pack it in, make it feel like you could lean into the ACC tournament, get some fresh legs. But if you're Louisville, you played on Sunday. If you're Wake Forest, you played on Saturday night. Plenty of rest in between these two matches over the last week. McManus through to Bakuza. A lot of bodies in front from the Demon Deacons back line and midfield. McManus headed down, briefly touched on by Sonder Road, and Garrison Tubbs knocks that one loose out of the box with O'Gara.
And the referee starting to tighten the game up a little bit. I think he felt like there were a couple moments where things were starting to edge into a space he didn't want, so he's starting to call it a little bit tighter than he has been to keep a lid on it here. There's some high stress moments. There's obviously a lot on the line for both of these teams.
Louisville clearly trying to still press on the gas pedal. Wake Forest trying to get back level. Mitchell. That was a great idea to get that ball over to White. Sails over his head. A couple subs for the Cardinals, including Damian Barker-John and Gaetano D'Argento. And Vlad Wallant check in for Jeffrey White. McManus and Parker Forbes have put in some good minutes in this second half. And quite involved, that's for sure.
You gotta get fresh legs on as much as you can. Sonder Road's got to be careful here. He's getting pretty frustrated with the whistle, and he's already on a yellow. I don't think in a game this important the referee is going to give a second yellow to someone for dissent, but you just gotta play it safe, because then it might not be a yellow card worthy foul, but if he's been arguing enough, the referee, we're humans, he's got to be careful. Yes. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. No, there's got to be careful.
There's definitely a human element to the power of the yellow or the red card, and yes, if that's his second yellow, it's obviously the equivalent. And you feel like if you're Louisville, emotionally, you want to be able to stay level. Been so good so far. Now Wake Forest would love to take anything as an advantage as Tubbs skies this one back out of the box.
So far, Louisville's done a pretty good job of controlling possession when they've had it.
There's Elliott lofting, and Alfin is there. Trace Alfin has seen plays like that before. I was certainly ready for that one against Elliott.
Well, if this result holds, we're going to look back on that Svetnov double save as the play of the night for Louisville defensively. Svetnov has kept his team in games more than one time this season.
And even the goal that Wake Forest was able to put in the back of the net, that was a rebound off of a save from Svetnov's leg.
Yes. Yeah, forced Mitchell to have to pick a tough angle, and he was unfortunate of how it bounced for Forbes.
How about that one? Notre Dame handling their business against the Pitt Panthers. 5-0.
That's a pretty lopsided scoreline.
Ento, 4 goals. Call that a double brace, hat trick +1. What do you think?
Oh, I was worried someone was going to ask that. I actually don't know.
We'll get a clarification. Oh, that's so rare.
I should probably know the answer to that, and I'm disappointed that I don't. I soccer,
likely
my
it would be the
soccer
same.
vocabulary.
It'd be the same in hockey. Whoever did it, you call that person a beauty. That's for sure. Well, I think that goes for both sports. Cooper Flax checks in for Liam O'Gara, and the holding midfielder put in some great effort. Just a really studded freshman year for
a haul.
O'Gara.
4 goals is a haul.
A haul.
Apparently. I've never heard that before, but it's not every day that you score
a haul.
A haul of goals. Haul, H-A-U-L, haul.
Okay.
U-Haul, haul. Not study
because you
hall,
put the
haul.
team on your back.
Yes. Yeah. I think that was showing that particular score when they know that there's a Pitt grad in the booth, I think was.
You think that was strategic?
Absolutely on purpose.
Uh-huh.
After all the kind things we said at halftime, for them to turn
Can you
around and show
believe
that
that?
score.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Much to your chagrin.
It's been a lot more patient for Wake working through the build. When they get down into this final third, they've got to be incisive.
Yeah, they've leaned into a couple spots where they just aren't able to get chances, but Louisville is still staying aggressive. And certain set pieces like this might be able to help a Wake Forest team maybe ignite a little bit of offense here.
Yeah, and you just don't need to give away that. I mean, is it a little soft? Probably, but he's coming across the body. You don't need to give away that foul. And these are the moments for Louisville where all season they've been frustrated with their game management and their ability to hold leads. Well, you put your defense in a tough spot here by giving away a set piece. Free kick here to the goalkeeper's right, to their left, and this is a dangerous moment potentially.
Paris right towards the net. Svetnov in good position.
Yeah, not quite where Wake Forest wanted that. You want to try to get it in that really sweet spot right at the edge of the 6, in front of the goalkeeper, where the goalkeeper has to make a decision to come out or not, come off their line, and where the runners are. Just a little too close in for the goalkeeper to deal with.
Maybe a mishit there from Svetnov on the clear too.
Well,
doesn't prove to be an unsettled.
Yeah, at some point Louisville is just happy to keep eating up time, even if it means they're not possessing.
Kojima lofting to Paris, and he's provided a little bit of a spark. You at least see him handling the ball a lot more for this Wake Forest team. No minutes in the first half. This ball finds nobody. Maybe looking for Jelani Forbes, who had the opening goal of the match today. And Gage Guerra is set to get back on the pitch.
It's been a really good defensive job from Louisville in the second half in terms of Forbes and Mitchell, because Forbes and Mitchell were both really able to move Louisville, put their defenders in awkward positions where they had to make decisions on, do I go? There's a little too much space in front of me. Do I chase him, or do I keep my place here and keep shape, keep the defensive line? And in this second half, Louisville's done a really good job of picking the right times to be physical and kind of jar Wake Forest's most dangerous guys off their rockers just a little bit, off their comfortable stoops, so to speak. I couldn't come up with a better word.
That's a good word. No,
that's an okay word.
Let's expand our vocabulary, Jeff.
Starting
you used permutations in the open.
I did, for all of our British friends out there, but we're starting to get to the point now where Louisville is getting lectured a little bit on time wasting. And a lot of soccer left to play here, almost 13 minutes. You gotta.
Oh, I think back to a couple home matches ago, Ohio State, Louisville had the 2-0 lead. Often playfully referenced as the most dangerous lead in soccer, and Ohio State made that come true and scored within 5 minutes, all within the final 8 minutes of the match to tie that game and in a draw. Out in front, rattled around Tatafu, and Sample heading up. Boy, it was generated by Cooper Flax. Mitchell and Forbes were looking for it. Now it's Damian Barker-John on the run. Full head of steam. Gage Guerra eyeing down Tubbs. Guerra has been a magician with the ball at his feet this season. Now Louisville on the run. It's Elliott. Sample had the first goal of the night for Louisville and the first of his season. As this trickles over to D'Argento, who had the second for the Cardinals. With a Virginia Tech loss and a Louisville win, Louisville puts themselves in the driver's seat to host next week, but with a Wake Forest win, the Demon Deacons will clinch the Atlantic and the 2 seed in the ACC tournament.
Well, we're seeing the benefits of having Gage Guerra on the field, where Damian Barker-John made that vertical run, but it's a little more difficult to shape that pass. Louisville defending a bit here.
Kojima couldn't really generate anything at that juncture. Barker-John maybe had a strange step or a cramp. He's down, but a Wake Forest Escribano. Looming for a chance here. Toss to Mitchell. And Elliott stifles this opportunity.
As I was saying, look, Louisville is probably not going to have a ton of chances to break late in this one. But when they do, they've got to make the right decisions on when to go and when to hold up. Guerra doing a good job of making that pass to keep possession.
Well, that was nicely done by Bakuzo. Kojima maybe had a chance at a rip there. Tubbs to Flax. Inside Kojima! And Wake Forest levels in Louisville. Put the ball at the feet of your captain. His third of the year. And the Deeks tie it up with 10 to play.
Well, it's a lot of patience. And once again, it's Flax. That's an excellent pass through the middle there. Unbelievable. And Kojima, look, I mean, Kojima is floating into that pocket of space. And Louisville just sitting so deep, settled in defensively, that there's an opening for him to step into a shot. What a pass from Flax. Flax has had a nice second half. He had the turn a couple minutes ago that almost created a goal-scoring opportunity. And Guerra's got to be careful there.
Yeah, this is for sure a booking. And Alfin letting Guerra know, got to be careful inside the box. But if you're Wake, that's exactly what you needed at this point in the match. Teaming on an opportunity, you finally let it pay off. Kojima wide open. Take another look at this foul here from Guerra. Man, just pushing Walent into Alfin, excuse me.
Sometimes that's tough when you're trying to just cause a problem and the defender gives you a little nudge into the other defender. But look, this is a dangerous moment now. Wake Forest feels like it has the momentum. It's starting to hand out yellow cards here quite a bit.
And Bakuzo, yeah, he gets himself a booking as well. And the fans at Lynn Stadium
starting to get a little anxious.
Letting Mike Stott hear it.
He's handing out yellow cards like it's trick-or-treating already.
He's got too many to give away.
But I mean, I don't think he's been wrong on some of them. I mean, Bakuzo, you can't block the restart.
This is Paris, and Wake Forest is trying to inch themselves back into a lead here. Escribano to Wallen. And the sophomore worked against D'Argento, and D'Argento wins that one-on-one battle.
And here's the tough part if you're Louisville. You see this all the time in this sport. You're winning by a goal, you're trying to control the game, you're trying to protect the lead, and you give up the goal. Do you have the ability to switch back into let's go find something or not? And Wake Forest has been the aggressor for a lot of this second half. They've controlled the ball quite a bit. Louisville, when they've had it, they've kind of taken their foot off the gas pedal to try to eat up some time and keep the ball, keep possession. And as a result, I don't know, it's hard to snap back into that other mode when you haven't really had to do some of the calculus in your attack for most of the second half.
Rode checks back in for Guerra. You need something generated, he might be your guy. With some fresh legs, D'Argento pulls down Escribano, and it's back to Wake Forest. We got chaos in the final 8 minutes. That's what ACC play is all about. Wake Forest can clinch the Atlantic Division, their 5th in 9 years. With a winner draw here. And Louisville trying to work back and get a lead. And ultimately a win in an effort to host for the ACC tourney. Of course, Wake Forest would only be able to win via a draw if Clemson loses. And last we checked, Clemson was tied with NC State at half, with no goals on the board for either side. 14 points for Wake Forest, 13 for Clemson. So both these teams vying for a win. There's Flax at the great assist just a few moments ago. He falls down, tackled there from LaBelle, and then it's back to Escribano. Flax. Wake Forest trying to work through. Josh Jones, nifty. Alejandre, pass goes too long for Pacuzzo. Kojima had the rocket earlier. Wallen inside Escribano. 5 yards from the box. Wallen working against D'Argento. Unable to fool number 2. Now it's a short corner. Escribano inside. Wallen can't corral. And it's back to McManus. Who's going to be the spark for either side? And if you're Louisville, it's been players that aren't usually on the scorebook getting it done tonight.
Louisville looks a little tired, honestly. They're sitting pretty deep. And when they win the ball back, they've got one guy making any sort of move forward. They've been sitting and defending for so long in the second half.
Jeffrey White on for Wake Forest, and Parker Forbes in for Louisville in relief of D'Argento. This will be a corner for the Demon Deacons. Good minutes from Vlad Wallen and Gaetano D'Argento. Lofting into the box, headed out by Tatafu, or at least up rather. I think you're right. There is certainly some tired legs out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, Wake Forest looks very much like the team that has all the energy.
Well, here's Paris. He's provided a lot of energy for this team. Forbes, ball at his feet. Mitchell and Kojima. Once again, now headed down, and it's out. Jeffrey White. And Louisville can catch its breath.
sweating it out here at the end of that. I mean, that was a good look. And I don't know if Jones maybe got a piece of that. It looks like he might have just gotten enough. No, I don't think he did. That is a heck of a save from Svetnov.
Yeah,
Without this goalkeeper, Louisville has given up 4 or 5 goals in this game.
7 saves to his credit. 3.5 to play. Pacuzzo is out. Barker John back in. Swallen pops out. Oh, and how about that? NC State in the closing minutes ahead of Clemson in the last 5. And if that score holds, Wake Forest could come away with a draw and still clinch the Atlantic Division and the number 2 seed. Escribano to Kojima, and Wake Forest content with the ball at this end, of course. Kojima tried to let one rip. It's a good hit there by Josh Jones to deflect. Escribano lofting, Mitchell over top, and Tatafu headed out. Escribano! And it's deflected by Axel Alejandre off the slide. Oh, hello, Clemson has scored. That's what you call broadcaster jinx, and we're not even at the game. So Clemson, if that holds, and they go to a draw, they get 14, and at least tie with Wake Forest for the moment. A lot of shakeups. All the matches are at this exact same time.
Dare I call it decision day?
I think you do dare. Final 90 seconds, and it's been all Wake Forest at this end for the last few. If you're Louisville, it's go time. But if you're Wake Forest, you're comfortable settling right now. I would imagine. Of course, they don't know the score like we do of the Clemson match, as there's a shot from Swallen and Svetnov to save. Got to go here if you're Louisville, right?
Yeah, I mean, both teams need to go for the win for different reasons. But, I mean, Wake Forest has been very much in the driver's seat in the second half, and Louisville just has not switched back on. Just really kind of bereft of ideas with the ball at their feet.
They could see tired legs, but it's Forbes and Wake Forest, and deflected. Working for the set piece. Ball's got to go.
Some veteran ball boy behavior back there, by the way.
Maybe saw a little bit there too. Flex inside, Elliott headed out. Some late drama. 10 minutes left to play. Wake Forest levels it out. Each team will come away with a point ultimately. What an effort on both sides. An incredible match here in Louisville in the Derby City. And Jeff Greer, thoughts after what was just a chaotic event that we saw here over the last 90 minutes?
Yeah, you got to give credit to Wake Forest coming out in the second half. They stayed patient. They kept working through their build until they got to the point where they really had Louisville pinned down, found some space, got the equalizer, and feel like probably they were a little hard done that they didn't win this game. Louisville, look, they took their chances in the first half, and we kept talking about it. It's hard to click back in